thing I want to talk to you about now, and it's really very informal at this point, is that we understand that there is a verdict. And as you have been told and we have been told, we were going to be given an hour from the time that verdict was known to the judge to get everything ready. And so what I want to talk to you about now is what we mean by ready. And what we mean by ready is that, of course, Miss Davis will be here, and Mrs. Alexander, and so forth. And when they come, I want you to abide, if you will, by what I described yesterday, and I think you can understand it. Everybody's very anxious. You guys have a job to do, but then so do we. And we'd like to keep the 10-foot thing, the 10-foot distance from Miss Davis, and I think it'll be state late.
Everybody says Kennedy stole the show. Did you hear Carolyn? Okay.
You manage. Carol manage.
Let's go.
I don't know if you can find an attorney.
Make no statement, Kendra.
Don't say a word.
Yes, we're coming in. Where's Mama? She's coming in. All right, she's in.
Don't worry.
Well, Leo. How the people? Come on. We're going right back through here. Come on, you guys.
Back up, please.
We're coming. You get me 50 seconds on that off. Back it up. We're going back here in the corner. Charlene, move back a little bit. Okay, we're moving. Really? Yeah, we're going back here in the corner. That's all right. Come on. Stand up on the top step, please. Move up. Hey, you gotta move out.
Come on. You guys move your hands so those cameras knows, and we all know, that the victory in this is to set her free. And it is because of that we I've never been lost for words before. I don't know. Then we will come out and tell you where the victory is.
All over. We need a victory picture.
You will get it in the press room.
Leo Bratton.
I have been speaking for the last 10 weeks, along with other lawyers. And I had really my final say when I concluded my final argument before the jury. This day belongs to Angela Davis and to the people, and so rather than my saying anything else, I'd like for Angela to say something.
So the mics are
Yesterday you gave me big trouble. I started to put my hand all on you.
She's standing up for the mics. You can get your shots later.
They can figure it out.
I guess I'm just sort of like everybody else today. I'm completely speechless. This is... This is not only the happiest day of my life, but I'm sure that all the people all across this country, all across the world, who struggle so hard for my freedom, see this as an example of all of the victories that are to come. Because starting from this day, we're going to work to free every political prisoner and every oppressed person in this country and in the whole world.
Right on. You guys in the press, go on through the gate first, will you please?
Yeah.
Hey, you can't come in here. Well, let's
Damn gates. I think the people of this county want to know when those gates are coming down.
come on, man. Stay back.
Reed, let's go downstairs right now. Come on, we know what the agreement was that we go downstairs and do it all at once.
Move on back. Let's go.
Any press that want to cover it, get in there now.
No. I'd rather not.
You spent a lot of time going over the love letters.
Pardon?
What time did you reach a verdict?
10:30, I think it was. Right, approximately 10:30.
Can you tell us if there's more than one ballot?
Did I comment on that?
Yeah, but we forgot
No,
what you said.
yeah. That was very clever. Yeah, I did. I think there was, no comment on that. The details of what we did in the jury room, I think, should remain with us.
Can you mention how you feel, were you particularly affected by the final argument?
I've already answered that question with no comment.
Mr. Timothy, would any of the jurors care to comment on whether you feel that this experience has changed your lives in any way? And in the future you'll be different people because of this?
If you are jurors, there's no...
No doubt about it.
No.
How has it changed your life? Would you care to
I really
elaborate on-
haven't had enough time to think about it personally. We've all been together. We haven't had much time by ourselves, but I'm sure in one way or the other it will definitely affect my life.
Did it turn out to be a different experience from what you had anticipated?
I didn't know what to anticipate. I hadn't been on a jury before.
Would you want to go through it again?
No comment.
How about you, sir?
Did you feel it was an educational experience?
How many of you cried after the verdict was announced? The reaction set in? How many of you cried after the verdict was announced? The reaction set in?
Do we have to comment on that?
No comment.
Would you want to be tried under the same process if you were accused of a crime?
I think it's the best process that any country has come up with, which is evading the direct question.
Did the
But
fact that there were no blacks on the jury have any influence on the jurors in any way?
we can't comment on that. I don't think we can. I can't. If anyone else wants to comment on it.
Brian,
Courtroom when the verdict was announced. We couldn't see you on the TV screen.
Press conference in
I
a
just
few
want to know
minutes.
quickly, was that you who was trying? Or was it Kendra?
What?
Give this to Mike.
What happened to Kendra?
She was playing football yesterday.
Where are the lawyers?
Different times, and if people stay down, be quiet, we can get it done.
This is a sweet victory for the millions of us across the earth who've supported this long and difficult action, and especially the struggle of people of color against repression, racism, and war. The decision of the jury has borne out this contention. The simple truth, obvious to all long ago, is this: there never was a legal case against Angela. But the political necessity for such a trial was incontrovertible for the state. As we all remember, the whole thrust of the original case against Angela Davis was that she is a dangerous black revolutionary, that's in quotes. Her conviction would have deprived the black liberation movement in particular of another important leader and served as a lesson to the broader movement. That is why it is so important that this state conspiracy to get Angela was smashed. For the truly national united defense movement which has matured in the past months, this victory proves the correctness of our strategy in building a complementary political and legal defense. As the freeing of the Soledad brothers, Angela Davis, and numerous other police are indeed proud of this people's achievement. But we have no intention of stopping here. There are struggles everywhere which demand urgent work. Rochelle McGee, the San Quentin Six, Gary Lawton, and Billy Dean Smith are on trial in California. Otis Johnson and Fred Bell in Texas, Martin Sostrin of Harlem 4 in New York, Walter Collins in Mississippi. There is considerable new and threatening repressive legislation, including the Supreme Court's politically inspired ruling, is in any way inappropriate. Angela's acquittal was at the same time a political conspiracy. Rega Neville Younger and Albert Harris wanted this prosecution to serve as a lesson on the testimony of police, prison guards, and one ex-con who was paroled immediately after giving a statement to Harris, and then telling a defense investigator that he'd have sold his mother down the river to get out of San Quentin prison. And perhaps worst of all, Angela Davis spent nearly 17 months without bail, a, quote, fair trial, end quote, took place. No trial should have taken.
Okay, Bill Curtis. Wait a minute, you didn't raise your. Bill Curtis, CBS News.
Just general reaction. Could you just kind of take off and wrap?
I think you've been able to see from all of the celebrating that has already taken place here what my reaction, the reaction of the members of my family, and all of the sisters and brothers who've been struggling for my freedom This is the happiest day of my life.
There are a lot of them out there, by the way.
All right, Bob Williams.
What do you think this means as far as your followers worldwide, in France, Germany, Africa, throughout the world? How do you feel that they should accept this verdict, not only with joy, but what other reactions should they read into it?
Well, I don't consider all of the people in this country and throughout the world who've been struggling for my freedom as my followers. They are committed, devoted human beings who are struggling against oppression and who would be just as committed to any other person who was unjustly repressed as they were to me. And I'm sure they're going to continue to fight just as I am. And this is the real reason why I'm so happy now to have all of this out of the way so that I can begin to give all I have to the struggle to free political prisoners and to the struggle to liberate all oppressed people.
Are you going to travel?
Well, I think now is the time to start making plans.
Wait a second, Don Domain.
As I said before, now is the time to start making plans. I haven't made any plans at all.
Okay, Angela, would you give us your feelings now about the system of American justice after you've won this case?
Well, if you're implying that the fact that we have won an acquittal means that I might change my opinion of what the American judicial system is all about, then you're wrong. As we've said continually, the winning of an acquittal would be a people's victory and would be indicative of what people throughout the country and the world have done for the last however many months it's been. As my sister said when she was reading the statement before, the very fact of an acquittal reveals that there was no fair trial at all, because a fair trial would have been no trial. And if it's necessary to wage the kind of struggle that we've waged simply in order to ensure that justice prevails, then that says something about the American judicial system. We're going to have to continue to struggle. And we realize that for every black man and woman, for every Chicano, for every Puerto Rican, for all people of color, for all exploited people, justice is always a struggle. And it will be a struggle until we've succeeded in changing the entire fabric of the society where the people themselves will be in control of their destinies and their lives. So this hasn't changed my opinion of the American judicial system. It shows that a people's struggle can be victorious.
Aaron, and then Bill.
Ms. Davis, could you please take us briefly through the few moments, step by step?
I don't think I can do this. I mean, we were all so happy to hear the first and the second, and especially the third. And if you were in the courtroom, I'm sure you know what my reaction and the reaction of all of my family and my friends and all of the sisters and brothers who would come in to hear the verdict with us.
Bill.
Could you tell us what your immediate plans are, without your long-range plans? Vacation or see your family?
Well, I guess we're going to celebrate some.
Yeah.
And begin to steel ourselves for the struggle ahead.
Wait a minute, Steve Huss, and then Elizabeth and Carolyn.
Angela, you decided not to take the stand. Can you tell us why?
Well, I don't have any comment on the legal issues of the case now. I think that's something that I would discuss in a press conference with my attorneys if we did discuss it.
Wait a second.
We worked as a collective throughout the entire legal team.
Elizabeth, what were the most difficult, as you sat in the courtroom and watched the trial proceed, what were the times that upset you most, if any?
Well, it upset me to be in the courtroom at all. And particularly when it became obvious that the Attorney General was going to use any innocuous event he could get his hands on in order to fit it into some kind of gigantic conspiracy. And I guess you remember the day when he was cross-examining Carl Blois, attempting to demonstrate that I had called him under the pseudonym of Jamala to say that I was fleeing the state of California or something of that sort. And it just so happened that Jamala, who's a very good friend of mine, was in the courtroom. And I think that was really the best kind of example of what his whole case was about. That's all right.
Let me explain. We have something that we have to do. I'm going to take 3 more questions. It's Carolyn and...
Well, I think throughout this country, people are becoming increasingly aware of the fact that whatever the government does is not a priori the truth. And it's not only the struggle around political prisoners that has begun to change the climate in this country so that an acquittal like this could occur, but also the reaction to the war in Vietnam and the reaction to Nixon's economic policies. I think there's a lot more resistance now, and that means that we have to continue to build that resistance and allow it to mature.
Angela, is there any one point in the file that you can point to?
That's which have come in. And I think that while the climate in this country is beginning to change in a direction which we see as a positive one, at the same time, there's a response to that reaction, so that I would agree that there is some danger that exists. But I'm certainly not going to allow that to shut me in and prevent me from becoming active once again in the liberation struggle.
Okay, that's the last question.
The people who sat as jurors, I do not consider them as part of the judicial system. And I think that their responses indicate the way in which people in this country are becoming aware of government